everybody, this is Jonathan, and today I'll be showing you guys how to install 9Front, which is an operating system that is based off Plan 9. If you guys want to read more about it, there's a Wikipedia page over here that I will leave in the description, so you guys can read through its history, how the system works, and all of that. But while I'm doing this video, I'm going to just go and show you guys how to install it. So now go over to their website. Once on their website, to install the ISO, go to Releases over here, select 2024, select this one, 28, 0, and then if you scroll the way down, we should see a folder which will here it is. So we want https 9front.org ISO, and then from here we should be able to select the folder that will contain the ISO image. So for example, I can select this one. It should technically start downloading it, and then once you finish extracting it, it should give you an ISO image. You guys can put the ISO image onto a USB stick, or you guys can boot up from the ISO using virtual machine, for example 30box. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to show you guys how to install it. Okay, so I'm going to click on the start button to start booting up to the system. Okay, so this is based on Plan 9, so that's why it says Plan 9. But this is actually 9Front. Press on the enter key, you just have to do it a couple of times here. Okay, now we see a screen like this. It's now basically loading the operating system. It shouldn't take too long to do actually. Okay, so basically once it has finished loading, now all you guys have to do is do inst. Let me make sure I have this one selected, inst. And now you guys can do start. And now if you press on the enter key, it should give you this text. The text says, preparing menu. For following unfinished tasks are ready to be done, you guys can do configs, choose a type of file system to install, and you guys can also do fignet, which configures the network, and you guys can do TC setup, choose the time zone. So these are the tasks that we're going to have to do. So we're going to have to configure the file system. We also need to configure the network, and we can also do the TC setup, which allows us to choose our time zone. Press on the enter key. I think that's fine. Let's just use the default. Okay, cool. Let's do this again, and now from here we guys can following disk devices was found. Okay, disk to partition. Okay, cool. So what I will do right now, I'm going to do CD, C, and then I do O, which will allow me to partition this drive. Now if I press on the enter key, now you guys can install the master boot record or GPT. I will go ahead and install the master boot record. So to do this, just do MBR, press on the enter key. Now you guys can just do Q. Actually no, we need to write it first. Do W, then press on to Q to quit. Okay, so now let's move on to the task, which is prep disk. Press on the enter key, press on it again, press W, then press Q. That will quit from it. Now you guys can now do mount file system. Press on the enter key, press on it again, and now yes, we want to do that. Configuring. Okay, cool. So now we can do confignet, which will now configure the network. Press on the enter key, press on the enter key again, automatic is fine, and this may take a while. Okay everybody, so I basically had issues with configuring the network. I chose an automatic, but it did not work. It took ages for it to be done, and I just thought that it just kind of went wrong, or there might have been an error. So I'm going to try to skip the configuring the network, as it didn't work for me. But if it does work for you, then we should be able to get this task done. So what I'll do next is I'm going to do mount dist. So that will locate and mount the distribution. So now if I do mount dist, okay, please wait, I'm scanning storage devices, or following storage media were detected. choose the one that containing the distribution. Distribution disk, yeah, that's totally fine. Location of archives. Okay, cool. So our following tasks are done. So we're able to choose the type of file system to install. Okay. So we also got config network. We can now copy the distribution into a file system. So now if I do copy dist, now if I press on the enter key, now that should technically copy the distribution into our file system. Okay, cool. Let's just wait for this to be done. So now what I'll do, I'm going to choose the time zone. To choose the time zone, all you do is do TZ setup, press on the enter key, and from here you guys can just choose what your time zone is, but this is based on country, so just type down your country basically. Let me just look for the country I'm currently in. I'll just type down Japan. I'm not gonna spend like an hour trying to look for my time zone. That's on the enter key. That's totally fine. Let's do that. Okay, cool. So now we have our time zone. Now what you guys can now do is do boot setup. So if I type down boot setup, that will configure the hard disk to boot plan 9. So now if I do boot setup, so that will allow me to boot up to the operating system on my hard drive. So now if I do this, if I press on the enter key, if I press on it again, press on it again, and that should start, yes, we wanted to install that. Yes, things to configure. Okay, so I could not get my network, I was not able to configure the network, so I'll be skipping this. But to finish the installation and to reboot, all guys need to do is type down finish. So if I type down finish, if I press on the enter key again, then it says congratulations, you completed for install. So what I'll do right now, I'm going to get rid of the ISO image. So we go to settings, if I go into the storage, if I get rid of the ISO, now hopefully we'll be able to boot up without any issues at all. Okay, looks like it's working. Press on the enter key, everything is fine. Cool, we're able to get working. So now if I do ls, this lets out of the directories. You guys can just do cd bin, and we'll be able to enter the bin directory. And now you guys can do ls again, you guys can go into cd 386, and that may show up some applications. It usually doesn't, but I think if we do cd dot, okay, so there must be a way of going back. But if I do ls, then this should just list out all the directories and all the files that we've got in the operating system. So this is how we're going to be able to install 9Front. It's a very simple installation, and anyone can technically do it. I was unable to get the network to be configured. I don't know why, but it would not allow me to configure it. So it took a long time for me to do it. But then I realized it's not working. So I waited for it to be done for like 10 minutes or even longer than that for it to finish configuring the network, and it still not do it. So I think there might be a problem with configuring the network, but it might just because might be a problem with my Turtle box really. Okay, if you guys like this video, please put a like and please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.